crazy cellar. Crazy with this. I think we have a lot of things to taste.
Okay.
Me, I don't work on the fruit. Fruit is boring. For if you have a good terroir, you need to work on wine on terroir. If you have bad terroir, you work on the fruit. Sometimes if you have big yield, it's good. The fruit is good, but me, I prefer to have another dimension in the terroir, and because the terroir is unique. You can make fruit wine everywhere in the world, but the terroir is totally different. It's unique. People from other countries know more Auvergne wine than the Auvergnat. Auvergnat don't like their wine. Yeah, so they never buy wine from here. No, they prefer to drink Bordeaux, Burgundy, Chinon, Calderon. Yeah. At the moment in Auvergne, wine are very acid and very bad. They make a lot of quantity and the wine are not very good. And so bad reputation. That's why people don't want to buy, but even to taste. C'est du Gamay.
Pourquoi tu as toujours du Gamay dans tes vins?
Pourquoi j'ai du Gamay? Parce qu'on a beaucoup de Gamay. C'est le Gamay, c'est bon pour la santé. The Gamay is more big, like this, and you see you have two wings. Gamay Beaujolais is like this, but Gamay d'Auvergne you have les ailes, and more not compact grape, more aerate. Taste more spicy, more acid, less fruit, perhaps a little bit more rustic. The skin are more tough, so for the climate, it's less moisture, pourriture. And yeah, but it's productive. For us, it's very important to be in the vineyard because it's the balance. I try to be the most possible, always, each day actually. But we have a team, we are three, so it's very important to organize and to direct what we do to the vineyard. I don't imagine I have no vineyard. I can make only négoce. It's important. It's always the balance between outside, inside. It's a part of the work. When you tired about the vineyard, you can go to the cellar. You need to do all. Yeah, Puy de Dôme is a new volcano. The last eruption is 20,000 years ago. Here it's the same. We have eruption. The last eruption was on limestone soil, on Oligocene. So you have basalt, and after you have limestone. It's why here you can find some limestone and basalt. So it's a blend. Spicy and very mineral flavor. Sometimes I like to try to open a door and make wine that no people never make. Each wine is different, but there is always like a idea of family. But when sometimes you taste a wine, you never taste like this. You say, oh. Sometimes you don't like, but you say, oh, it's different.
It's give you emotion, I think.
Yeah, giving emotion.
It's always to find emotion when you drink it, and kind of way to bring something.
C'est ça. A lot of things change before when I start. Always in Auvergne, it's always cold a long time. Only in summer, very hot, but now it changed. Because with the weather and lack of acidity, and it's for us it's a very big problem because it's the acidity. If you want to make natural wine, you need acidity. We try to keep the acidity, but not to make the harvest very early. So we change for the good acidity. Some year we stop carbonic. We try to distain, but I think it's not the good solution. We make like trompette. Always use whole bunch grape.
Yeah, whole bunch, but we press half of it, and especially now we need to be very careful in the vineyard. The exposition of the sun of the grapes. If they are very direct exposition, that means like very high maturity. So all these grapes we want to press direct and keep the one that's more like on the shadow to put in infusion in the direct press to always the idea of keeping acidity.
And the flavor of not surmaturate grape. Yeah, I don't like confit, and that's why now we make wine a lot of in the vineyard, not in the cellar. I have this vineyard since 2004. After in 2000 I start to make a mole, I think it's the first in 2014. 14, and the blend of different area like south of France, but in 2014 it's half of Gamay d'Auvergne, and we always put some Gamay d'Auvergne in a mole. I like it because it's a simple wine, and with fruit but it's not only Auvergne, and Superbie is only one terroir. Is for me one of the best terroirs on granite soil on Beaujolais, and very old vineyard. We bought the grape from Julien Bertrand, well known for his good practical in the vineyard, in organic, and the soil is so nice, and but it's different Gamay, and taste differently. Lulu is all bunch. Until 2008-9, I make a very long maceration, and now I make 13 days of maceration, and never press, never the pigeage.
We don't go
never
to the
crush,
tank
and so it's why it's not too much color, and to try to have the fruit and minerality. And Pinot Noir for Caillou is a little bit different because more alcohol. So we press a little part of Pinot Noir and some Chardonnay, and we put on the grape.
Because Pinot Noir is always our first harvest. We're starting with Pinot Noir, and after we're doing Chardonnay. So sometimes we just pressed a little bit part of the Pinot Noir and put in the tank, but most of the time we're just leaving all the grape like this. And after, when we harvest the Chardonnay, we press the parts, direct press, and we put a little bit of the juice on the tank to cover the grape.
Mm.
But Lulu and Caillou is very important for us. I think it's not that we prefer this cuvées than the other, but it's very important for us because we're spending a lot of time, and we feel like we have unique terroir in Auvergne also that is very specific of our region. That's why, and it's a very old vineyard. It's about 80 years old, more or less. So we have like a small quantity of grapes. So I think we always feel like every vintage is very unique.
Yeah.
And not working every time. That's the most difficult, especially for the Blanc.
The Blanc, yes. I think we have grape, but it's more the vinification is more difficult. Sometimes don't work, so we have volatile and sugar, so we don't put in bottle. We make some gentiane and we distill it. In the vineyard, I say, oh, this is very important during the harvest. This side, I say, I identificate all. I say, this is for press, this is for macerate. It's not me who transform, it's the nature who transform, yeah. But you can give the direction. And for me, I only give the direction, and after, I don't control.
It's like kids, you always give them, like, you feel like to give them the good cards to go after, and you try to give them a direction, but they always do what they want. So
sometimes we win, sometimes.
I'm not sure it's a game. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a game for me, like a game. Sometimes it's the life. We not met a lot of chemical analyze, but we look with a microscope. So we try to see where actually the beginning of the fermentation, if it's the bacteria, if there is a lot of yeast.
Because natural wine is a fight between yeast and bacteria. It's a main thing that we have to understand. It's the fight between them, and to understand what you have in your tank or amphora, it's mean that it's guiding you to a good process, how to work the wine or how to put a direction in the wine. But the main thing is now with global warming, we have to always adjust. Before we can make wine very easily, we have like kind of recipe and it's working. And now with global warming, you need to always understand your year to see what's happening during all the year to adjust always in your vinification.
And the vinification is one step, because after it's aging a wine is another step sometimes for the volatile acid, the VA. We don't make a lot of VA during the fermentation, but it's after, in December, January, in the spring. Change totally, so it's not when you start to make wine, you say, oh, it's okay. But after we say, oh, sometimes the VA rise, and now we need to focus always more on how you can age the wine. We use like this, but we can't age a lot. I think we need to put in bottle only 6 months. This is not good. It's good, but
it doesn't get the wine better because I think you don't have any exchange with oxygen in inox. It's like
it's good
close.
to make inox fruit, but if you want to more work your wine in terroir, you put in this or in wood. Yes, the little oxidation can transform the wine, destroy the fruit, and after you have terroir wine. Before it's be a winemaker, a vigneron, it's very hard because you need to do all in the vineyard, in the cellar, sell the wine, administration. And now I'm more free for vinificate, for work in the vineyard, more focused. I know because I do this thing for a long time, and now I have to have help because it's help and other ideas.
Different point of view, because me, I was when I came, I was completely out of the winemaking process. So to have something that you have like very brand new ideas, but never making wine before. So I think it's maybe less interesting to see how you're making your customs paper, or I don't know. It's like a chef in kitchen. You're never gonna be by yourself, but you're talking only always about one people, and you cannot make this without all your team. So.
It's very important because we are a team, because we have other people who work with us in the vineyard, and we are
We are
3 other people.
Yeah, we are 5
And it's
people.
very important because without this team, I can't make wine. Perhaps in the natural wine, we always say a name, but without a team, when you are young, 4 hectares, it's okay. But after now, I can do the same thing when I was young. If I work alone, only 2 hectares. Because we choose to not use a lot of mechanization, a lot of tractor, a lot of things. We do a lot of by hand. If I have big tractor, new vineyard, of course I can make more wine alone. But for me, it's not the idea. A good team. I like to work with Justine. When you study, so you know something, you analyze the trouble or the process, and you always try to ameliorate. But me, I try to say no, observe the process and to keep the balance, les équilibres. Sometimes it's better to do nothing than to do something. It's like a doctor, you are ill, give you a medicament. But we try to work more before you are ill in the vineyard. If you have good grape, for me, you don't have to correct the vinification. It's important for me to do nothing, to observe. And after, with what I learn about the yeast, about chemistry, about the acidity, the electro-oxidal reduction, I think it's very important because now there is a lot of scientists who work in the vineyard. It's very important to understand the acidity, the pH, all the balance. You can make wine with no knowledge. And it's why it's very important. For me, if you have the sensibility, you can make wine. So if you want to explain what this is good, but if you want to be better, I think it's good to have some knowledge about all the problem of oxidation, about the mouse, to understand. We have an extension of microbiology, of fungus, of bacteria, we don't know. But always the nature adapt and create new, and they're not especially good sometimes. So it's why, because the mouse. This mouse, it's young. My first mouse in wine was 2011. They have some wine with a mouse before, but why? What happened? So something changed. Before we never have this. So we natural wine need to adapt with the climate. It's always possible to make natural wine. Some people say it's perhaps in 20 years not possible. For me it's possible, but not everywhere. And perhaps in Auvergne in 20 years it will be very hard to make a wine. Make natural wine is only the balance between a lot of parameters about acidity, the sun, but human parameter. Why there is a lot of parameters, and each people analyze and do his own wine, and why all the natural wine are different. It's good because if we drink always the same thing, it's not good. You put it's not only wine. You put always something in the wine. You work more with the good vibe and earth. And it's this make the difference, because the wine is a live product.